you guys. My name is Tracy Valentine, and I am a kindergarten teacher here at Cool Spring Primary School in King William County, Virginia. I am the one of the two virtual kindergarten teachers for our county, and I wanted to just take a quick second to let you know what I have learned so far. And wow, has this been a journey. I have never taught virtually. I have been a teacher for about 17 years, and this would be the first time I have used technology like this at all. So it has been an incredible learning curve, but there have been a few things that I have learned that I would love to share with you. First of all, let me say woohoo for you for going into the teaching profession. It is a job that you will 110% love. You will feel cherished, and you are making a difference in this world, and it is so worth it. Yes, there are going to be days when you cry out of frustration, and there are days you feel like you're climbing a greased pole, but then there's the very next day when that light bulb goes off above a little angel's head, and you are just like, oh, I did that. So stick with it and do not get discouraged. Make mistakes. You will make mistakes, and be glad that you do, because that is how you become a better teacher. It is the only way you're going to grow. So now that I'm off my soapbox, woo, here we go. I tend to talk really fast, and my kids learn to keep up with me, so I'm going to keep going. What I wanted to tell you about virtual is one of the luxuries our county has is that my co-teacher and we get to teach live. We make it like a television show. So my one thing that I would say for student engagement is talk to your children. I have a direct conversation with each of them as they log on. How's it going? What did you do last night? Is there anything you want to share? While I'm teaching, I also use their names. However, I have learned there's only so much interaction I can allow because of taking the time for the muting and unmuting. One other thing that I have learned, and I would say for engagement, is have them have in their hands what you are doing. Please give them something that they can be interactive with. I roll around my classroom all day when I'm teaching, but this is not as exciting just to watch me touch it as the fact that they have their own interactive calendar. So as they are doing things and I'm showing them, they are having to do it at home, and I get to watch. So if I see them participating, I'm giving lots and lots of feedback. But if I see them not participating, I'm calling them out and saying, hey, sugar, where's your calendar? Come and help me do it. I use my opportunity. I'm very blessed that I would say that the learning coaches that are sitting with these children, I have pretty much established you need to be there, and they're helping. So I say a lot of times I'm teaching my parents or learning coaches as much as I am teaching my kids. So the more that you can engage them with knowledge and tell them how they can help their little angel later, the better it goes. Also, I would say incorporate music. Take breaks. That is probably, if you wouldn't want to do it, they're not going to want to do it. So there's only so much you can sit through. Put in songs and dances and flip your screen and let them do it, but you do it too. If they're dancing, you're dancing. If you're saying woohoo, then you want them to be going woohoo. Like, everybody needs to be together. I use puppets all day. This is Drago. Oh my gosh, my kids love Drago. Drago will do things, and he's naughty because it's actually more fun to be naughty. So he eats our kindness bug, and we have to make sure he makes good choices. And if he's good for the day, he gets to hold the kindness bug. But usually by the end of the day, he eats him. So it's just for fun. Anything that you can do that's silly and engaging, that makes them laugh, keeps them wanting to watch you. And when they're watching, they're learning. We have a Katie the kindness bug. Put on silly, goofy head things. Yes, you might feel silly because you're just talking to yourself, but you will be engaging them. We roll around the room, and sometimes I want them to feel like they're in class. So if we're doing an activity like this, I tell them to scoot up to their computer and I want you to touch it, or I want you to find something. Engage them, expect it. And I can tell who's at their computer. So I'm going to say, oh my gosh, you're doing such a great job, Johnny. I love that you're up there and you're looking for that word. Or, you know what, Sarah, come on, get off the couch for me, sweet girl. I need you with me. The more that you are using their names, the more that they know that you love them and that you are watching them and that they are accountable for what's going on. And I do tell my children every single day how much I love them. I tell them how much I appreciate them coming to class and how happy they make me when I see them. When it comes to differentiation, that's really hard. You've got some angels that come with a full toolbox, some angels that come with not a lot of experience at all. I change a lot of my questioning. I definitely, because virtual is hard, I have a very small amount of time I'm allowed to talk. So I hit a whole group the best I can, but I have scheduled and have placed into my day small group lessons. When I'm in small group, it is totally tailored to those individual learning styles. I do a lot of questioning while I'm teaching, and sometimes if I know you're a little behind on some of the letters, I'm going to call on you to talk to me about a letter you know, whereas I'm going to challenge another child that I already know is a little bit further. Your questioning is a great way to do differentiation when you're virtual, because there's not a whole lot you can do other than show the parent how you're asking different questions. When it comes to small group, that is a great time to make it differentiated. You can target where they are so you're building on their successes. We also have scheduled in our virtual time one-on-one conferences. I get to meet with each student twice a week for 20 minutes, and that is golden time. They get to know how much I love them. It's just me and them. It's a great time for conversation. If you can build a relationship with that child and they know you love them, I guarantee you they will work hard for you. And it just takes time. It takes time, and you're building a relationship not only with them, but with their parent, because they're watching. You get used to that. Please know, as any teacher in any classroom setting, in a virtual setting, kids need to have one-on-one time. They need to touch things. They need to be uncomfortable, and they need to mess up. That's the only way they build coping skills. So let that happen. And if you mess up, oh my goodness sakes, I mess up all the time. If you mess up, tell them, laugh about it, go, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm thinking. Let me just start all over. Oh my goodness. And start over. Show them how you cope with the strategies and how you go through difficult things, because they are learning by watching you. If you look like you're miserable, they're going to be miserable. So show them that you love what you're doing, that even though if we're reading a book, it's the coolest book you ever read, and that you are watching them. Say their names. Make them feel like they're part of a class, even though they're all by themselves in their house. There is really no wrong way to love a kid. Just love them. Love them. And if you love them, then they will grow. So I am, again, so grateful you let me talk to you. I know I probably went all over the place in a whole big circle, but make sure that if you are teaching, that you allow yourself the chance to mess up. You're going to have those days. And when you do, take a step, take a breath, call your kids to center, go, okay. And we have a doorbell. Every time my little angels hear a doorbell, it's catch a bubble. And it's a time for them to come to center. It's a time for me to gather myself. And it's a time that we all can just say, okay, now that I have your attention, let's go. Treat it like you're just doing a television show if you're teaching virtually, and really, really think about what would you want to watch. So new teachers, I love you. Congratulations, you're going to be awesome. It is the very, very best ever profession you could choose. You will feel so rewarded, and you are giving such a gift. I hope I helped a little bit. Have fun. Good gracious, if there's anything you can do, have fun. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful, I guess, time with your education. You're probably kind of approaching the end of it. So enjoy, make mistakes, love your kids, have fun. All right. Bye, guys.
Hi, my name is Kim Waller. I am a teacher in King William County Public Schools. I have been teaching, 8 years now. I have taught kindergarten, first grade, and this year I moved up to second grade to teach our students who wanted the 100% virtual option. I was named King William Schools Teacher of the Year just a couple years ago, and I am excited to share some of my insights that I have gained very rapidly as I have taught the second graders in a virtual world. So I'm going to share my screen. I just have a couple quick things to show you. Here we go. So I want to talk about engagement in the virtual setting. I know that we are all learning as we go and that we are figuring this out day by day. And that's okay, right? Because we aren't prepared to do this. And we're figuring out what our kids need and what our families need, and also as teachers, what we need. So when we think about engagement in a virtual world, okay, we think about structure, just as when they're in person, students need structure, but they also need flexibility. And along with flexibility comes student choice, right? Giving students the opportunity to show what they know in a way that best fits their personality and their needs. They also need to see that we're excited as teachers. If we log in and we are falling asleep or talking about how boring something is, then we're going to get that same sort of engagement in return. And lastly, just as if they are here with us, they need real world lessons at their level. Whether it's K or 12, they need to know how it applies to their real world, but at a level that's appropriate for themselves. So how do I gain true engagement? I work super hard to meet their social and emotional needs, because let's think, they have not been in school since March, right? And at this point, they've been maybe with different family members. They've experienced loss. They've experienced instability. So my goal is to meet their social and emotional needs through low threat, yet super fun ways, okay? So here's what I've done. I try and take 5 minutes to 30 minutes every few weeks, depending on the cues that they're giving me. I have done things like a virtual picnic where we all come and have lunch together and we just talk. I can't tell you about how many sports teams I've heard about lately because I just let them talk. I do Go Noodle. A lot of us know about these as amazing brain breaks. So sometimes I pop them into a lesson as I'm teaching it because I'm like, oh man, we need to move. But sometimes I just have everybody log in just for pure fun. I also like to create projects with them. So we send home packets of materials about every 2 weeks. I try and come up with different projects that relate to what we're covering. And then I have everybody just log in together and we go through the steps of creating it. So that's kind of meeting two ideas, right? They're doing the academic portion because we're creating a project related to something. But I'm also just letting them talk like, oh man, I messed that up. I cut this out wrong. Let's problem solve. We're just talking like we would be in class. And lastly, I don't know if you've ever used a YouTube how to draw. They have them for different levels, depending if you have real young kids or real old kids or older kids. But there are these YouTube videos about how to draw, and there's tons. I mean, you could connect it to any topic you're talking about. So these are just a couple things that I try and do every few weeks. I really guide my decisions based on what they're showing me. If they're showing me true engagement, then what I'm doing is working. If I'm starting to notice kids logging in late or not being prepared, then it tells me as the teacher, I need to pop in some more of these. So thank you so much. And just a reminder, you guys, you're doing amazing. This is a year that none of us could have prepared for. And you're doing it, and you're doing it with a smile and with grace, and you're making the best decisions for your students. And that's all anybody could ask for. So thank you for what you do.
Hello, my name is Melissa McConville. I am a kindergarten teacher in King William County, and I have been teaching kindergarten for 14 years. I've also taught preschool, and I have also taught first grade. So, welcome to the wonderful world of teaching virtually. So, if I had any advice that I could give you all, I would say, first of all, for engagement, it is top priority. Um, and that's hard to do when you are looking at a screen. So, my colleague and I, who there's only two of us that teach kindergarten virtually, have really relied on each other to come up with some really creative ideas of things that we can do to keep our kids engaged. So, a couple of things that I do that I'll share with you. We start the morning off with our welcome sticks. We had parents send pictures in of our children, and we made a stick for each kid. We hold it up to the camera every morning, and everyone says good morning. Just to give you an idea, of course, I had to black out the face, but I have sticks like this for each child. And then after we've said good morning to all of our friends, of course, I have my own stick. So they love that. They get a kick out of seeing my little Bitmoji. So we start our day with that. And I move around the room. We are very fortunate that we are able to teach from our classrooms. And so I approach the day as if my kids were actually in my classroom with me. So when I'm at Calendar, we are over at Calendar. I move over to our foundations board over here when it's time for letters. It's one of their favorite times of the day. We wake up Baby Echo. So for those of you who have the foundations program, you will know what this is. For those of you who don't, we whisper, wake up, Baby Echo. And Baby Echo flies in. Sometimes I don't know which way she's coming. So I have the kids, oh, there she is. So I have the kids get super excited when they see Baby Echo. And sometimes I have them help me rub her head to wake her up. And this is what we use to start with our letters in the morning. She flies around to our letters. I don't know if you can see behind me. She flies around to our letters. Sometimes she's really awake and she flies really crazy. They love those days. Anything that you can do or use to keep them engaged and to keep them looking and watching you is going to be very beneficial. The other thing I do is my actual children, my son, likes to make things. So we, for right before Thanksgiving, he made a little kindness turkey. We have a kindness ball that we use because I have sports theme in my room. But he made a kindness turkey. So we put a little heart on it, and I had the turkey in different places that they would find. Before we leave for the holidays, he also made me a little elf. So I'm going to use the little elf, and I will hide the elf around the room, and they'll get to find the elf. So something that keeps them watching and looking, and keeps their attention and makes them excited. That's what's going to be the best thing for them, and the best advice that I could give you to keep them engaged. And setting expectations. So from day one, we really talk to the kids about what our expectations were and what it was going to look like, because they're not in school with us. And we explained to them, if you were here, we would have some of these same rules. So we really talked about expectations, and that also helps with engagement. We have PBIS tickets that we give our kids. So I'm calling their names out. They have their cups up here with their tickets in it. They're able to earn prizes. We've had bring a stuffed animal to the computer day. We've had silly hat day, or we could do like virtual picnics. There's all kinds of ideas and things that we've come up with that once they earn a certain amount of tickets that we could do as a whole class, or they can spend their tickets for something special. And we put a little token in their packets that they get every week. So each week, every 2 weeks, they get a packet, and it's got all the materials in it that we are going to be using for that week. So another bit of advice I could say is just prepare. It is, it's not one of those things where you can kind of come in and go, oh gosh, I forgot to do this, or I forgot to copy this. Like, you have to have everything done and ready. So planning is a really huge part of being successful, I think, as a virtual teacher, and being able to reach your kids to keep them engaged and to be able to differentiate. You've got to kind of know where you are, where they are, so that you know what you need to plan for. And I think my last bit of advice would just be silly. I have here, I'll wheel you guys over here. This is what I do with them. I tell them, we're going for a ride. I have silly glasses that, normally I would only wear in front of a 5-year-old, and that's fine. But then I have to wear them in front of my 5-year-olds and their parents, or their learning coaches, as we call them, who are sitting right beside them, helping them through step by step. So I have my vowel glasses that I put on when it's time for us to find a vowel, because we know that those are tricky for our little ones. So they get a great kick out of that. And they just enjoy anything that you do that's silly and funny, and just be yourself. And just like you would if you were in the classroom, and teach from the heart, because that's what we know that they need. So thank you guys for listening. I hope that maybe I helped you a little bit with some different points and different things that you could do. And good luck, best wishes, and you got this. All right. Bye.